Guess who's back after abandoning this channel for 3 years or something? Exactly, me. Welcome back, or should I say hi for the first time? I don't know. I do hope that you're all still alive though, so I'd say that's a start. Now, it's been a while since the last video I made on this channel. Please don't check that out because it's embarrassing. For some background, I've been a senior QA automation engineer before, and now I'm currently a senior data engineer for a soulless fintech company. That I don't think I will be part of anytime soon, thankfully, because we're going through the third round of layoffs. I survived the first two, but I don't know what to say about this one. I'm tired, boss. Anyway, when I did that video, the world was a different place, to say the least. I was working for a smaller agency, I was doing decent, trying to pivot to data engineering, the usual stuff. But since then, a lot of unexpected things have happened. I initially wanted to make tutorials related to software development on this channel, but working in the corporate world for these many years kind of finally managed to make me lose the spark I had in my eyes. In between RTO mandates, people not being able to get hired, people getting fired left and right, AI, global wars, the pandemic, taxes, corporate crap, and personal life, to name a few, I realized that I'm severely underpaid, overworked, and burnt out. With that in mind, I decided to pivot from topics I initially planned on discussing on this channel to me basically making fun of the whole tech industry as it slowly burns down to the ground, because first, it's funny, and second, what else am I supposed to do, right? And I say that as someone who is still caught up in this mess. So, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Layoffs. Oh yes, the sweet layoffs. Why would you even want a decent job? Prosper in your life, be a helpful contributor to your community, or even help your family when you can be homeless, right? Well, I may be a little bit late, but it's never too late to complain more on this situation, as I don't think it's gonna change anytime soon, but more on that later. Before we even talk about 2026, let's do a little bit of a recap of 2025. We are not going to get into all these so-called reasons they provide for the layoffs as of now, because you already heard it all, right? Cutting costs, streamlining processes, AI taking over your job, blah blah, whatever. If you're working in this industry, you probably already know that they love to say so many big words that don't actually mean anything. Now I'll add the links that I'll be using in this video in the description, so if you really want to, you can check them out for yourself. Anyway, in 2025, we had Microsoft, whose layoffs impacted over 15,000 employees. They had in May around 6,000 and in July around 9,000. Amazon in 2025 with roughly 14,000 corporate roles, which is on top of previous year's reductions. Accenture laying off 11,000 staff as part of AI reskilling strategy. Oh boy. Intel followed with one of the largest restructurings in its history. So they laid off around 15,000 employees, which is 15% of its workforce, as part of a massive cost-cutting and refocus plan. Verizon laid off 13,000 employees. Google, Panasonic, HP, Salesforce. You get the idea. They're all the same. Back to 2026. Now, from this image I got from the TrueUp website, we can see there are not that many so far. I was honestly not expecting to see Tailwind on this list, so not surprised at all to see you here. So there's OKX firing 10 people. Form Factor, a Bay Area semiconductor testing company, to lay off more than 200 workers. Red Power Bikes are closing stores. Now, I've seen these guys last month. They were filing for bankruptcy and looking to sell their business. We have Hilo laying off nearly 10% of staff as it refocuses on robotics and physical AI, whatever that means for them. Tailwind, the CEO Adam Wathan wrote in a GitHub comment that 75% of the people on our engineering team lost their jobs here yesterday because of the brutal impact AI has had on our business. So there are 3 people that have been laid off, which means they had 4 engineers on their team and there's only 1 left. So Angie Home Services with the AI-driven efficiency improvements bullshit talk to eliminate 350 jobs. Then we have the Ubisoft closing its recently unionized Halifax studio. Says it's not because of the unionizing. Okay, bro. Cloudhead Games reduces 70% of workforce. Ouch. Here, the CEO, Danny Unger, I don't know how you pronounce that, to be honest. Anyway, he said that due to industry forces beyond our control, Cloudhead must make the difficult choice to reduce our workforce effective January 7th, 2026. 30% of us will remain to continue the mission. Now, there are 16 people left at Cloudhead following the cuts, according to him. So they were like 40 people in total affected by the layoffs. They are a smaller, basically, company, considering they laid off 70% of it. So when I started recording this video, there were like 664 people that were fired, essentially. And this was happening, I guess, on the 9th of January or 10th of January, but today is 17th of January. And I took a break in between, because work and a lot of things that got in the way, unfortunately. So now we have more people being fired. As you can see from this image, as of today, the number of tech employees impacted by layoff is 5,285, which is a huge increase in a 1 week. Plus, I still wanted to mention this one as it's more recent, in order for you to have a better view of how things have changed. You get the idea. 2025, especially the years post-pandemic, have been trash when it comes to layoffs, among other things. Now, let's focus on what we may expect from 2026. I personally don't think it will get better, to be honest. More than 100 companies have filed war notices indicating plans to lay off workers in January 2026, according to warntracker.com. Plus, I suspect the number is actually higher than the one that they provided, but I digress. For instance, while 14,000 job cuts at Amazon were confirmed last year, insiders suggest the total ripple effect could hit 30,000 roles by May 2026. And as you can see here, it's been said that these layoffs at Amazon are part of a massive restructuring plan in 2026 to cut corporate bureaucracy, increase individual contribution ratio, and pour billions into AI and AWS data centers. I mean, yeah, well, who could have guessed that? Among all the other reasons like post-pandemic overhiring corrections, AI, RTO that we heard so far, I mainly think the corporate master plan for 2026 is to lay off people again in order to drive up the stock price for a short period so investors and execs can basically cash in fast. Which I think is similar to what we've seen and experienced so far, especially since October, November of 2025. The problem is that when the damage is done, the trouble will be left to someone else to deal with it for the following years to come. Remember that the only thing that matters is pretty much demonstrating company growth to your stakeholders. If you are working on the engineering teams, you most likely know that the AI utopia they champion is insanely fake. They are mostly hiding behind AI because it drives the stock price and company value up. All in all, it's a big money grab right now for the wealthy at the expense of the middle class and poor. I'd say that the inflation effects were largely driven by corporations increasing prices, but at the end of the day, it's labor that gets punished through job cuts and higher interest rates. Now, you guys in US may have it worse because the trend for the past year that continues even today is aimed towards hiring people from third world countries like mine. But it's not sunshine and rainbows here either. The layoffs and RTO are still here, the ghosting is still present, and if we manage to get a job, then that's paid way under the market even for a place like this one. So to put things into perspective, I can see the salaries in my company. For the same role I have, in US, the company pays with benefits and everything around 300k per year for a senior data engineer. Here, I get 26k per year. Yeah, that's not monthly, that's per year. And I'm well aware I'm underpaid too. Hence the reason why I'm planning on leaving soon. You may think, well, yeah, but the economic state and market is different for European countries, which is true. But even for a place like this, I should get, from my experience, at least 45k per year. At least. So, yeah. To make it worse, in my company, I can see the salary range for Romania, where I reside. And it's actually a range where I'm not even part of it, ironically enough, even though all of my results have been above expectations. This is just their strategy to pay you the least amount of money possible, you know. So I'm like not even in the range. I'm slightly below the range. If you can believe that. It's wild. Thankfully, I've opened my sole proprietorship to pick up contracts and work as a consultant that's not paid in pennies for what I've experienced to be a hard job that left me burnt out and unsatisfied for the past years. Nonetheless, I'm almost ready with my escape plan anyway, so I'll most likely follow with that soon and leave this shithole once and for all. Sorry for the rant, but I had to get this out somehow. To not make this any longer, if anyone's watching at all, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you're all having an amazing new year. I actually had fun putting this one out, considering it's the first time I do something like this, and I hope to see you in an eventual new video. Love you, bye!